I am the systems engineer and audio crew chief. I oversee the general operation of all things audio on this tour, and specifically keeping things up and running and making sure that we have no hiccups and no problems with audio. I'm kind of like the mastering engineer to him being the mix engineer. I kind of look at things from a macro perspective, and he looks at things more on a channel level. So I take 3D drawings of the room, make sure that our system is aimed and optimized for every venue we go into, and then Arpad looks at it from a channel perspective and EQ perspective, where we work in tandem in that way.
What would you say separates a good systems engineer from a great systems engineer?
Foot rubs.
No. It's all about knowing what works in practice and not necessarily in theory. Like when to just draw the line and move out of, this is the textbook, okay, but this is what the hand we're dealt today, and this is why it works, and there is a point of diminishing returns. I think that is a lot of it.
So you came as a systems engineer starting off. What would you say separates a good one from a great systems engineer?
A good one really knows the PA and its capabilities and its boundaries, like where its limits are, how far you can push your trim, your hang, whether because of geographical situations or rigging or whatever it might be. Oh, I have to go wider than normally would. How far you can push that, how high it can go. Those kinds of things are very important to know about any PA, so you can utilize it to its full capacity. And then also understanding the show. Like, a Chris Stapleton concert is very different than, a Cardi B concert in all kinds of ways. So we don't need to go for, the tremendous low end, though the potential there is there, obviously. And so, are we EQing it for power? Are we EQing it for coverage? Are we EQing it, or not just EQing it, but setting it up, tuning it for tonality, for coverage? Because sometimes you might have to, sacrifice one thing or the other to achieve a higher goal, whatever that goal might be. And as a systems engineer, I think you really have to be in tune with what the rig is capable of, where its limits are, so that you can, how to deploy whatever complement of boxes you have in a way that best suits your show.
How important would you say the relationship is between the systems engineer and the front of house? Hold on, let me ask you this. How important would you say that is?
I mean, it is the most important relationship I have out here, and the most important part about it is trust. It's that we find a balance of, okay, he can trust my opinion or my ears, and vice versa. I can trust him with the computer and to run with the system and not, put it into knots. And that's really important. It takes time. But
and you do?
Do what? do I put it into knots? Yeah, I do.
Sometimes. But that's what I'm here for. To massage those knots out, like you said, foot rubs, right? No, and it takes time. It's just something that you develop over a number of years, knowing where some of these boundary lines are and when it's okay to step over them. Right. And it's like, you're going to find that in any job, though. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you have work relationships where you have to mind your cube, even if you really don't like those boundaries.
So what are you doing here?
Right now, we are adapting a new template. So I'm putting in, specifically today, right now, I'm putting in sub delay times and polarity inverts for our center cluster cardioid steered array. Things have a place where they physically are in space, right? These speakers are hanging where they are. Right now, I can't change that. But what I can do is introduce electronic delay that tells the arrays to wait in space or wait in time and space for the wavefront of another array to be in time with it, so they move forward together. And we can manipulate some of that, especially in the subarrays, frequency dependent and where you are and space or length or size of the array. We can manipulate some of that steering with some creative delay times and polarity inversions. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's better just to jam a straight line of subs in a left-right array and deal with the power alley and, you know, summation, cancellation. There's everything you do. You're getting balance. You know, you're getting trade-off in some capacity. You're taking something away from somebody to add something somewhere else. I mean, literally, you can only make it perfect in one place as soon as you take half a step one direction or the other. Your relationship to these arrays changes. So that time relationship that you've added here changes. So how are you going to make that perfect? You can't. Just trying to make it as good as you can for everybody. That's the idea.